Hello, everybody, and welcome to Vintage Market Inside the Charts. My name is Tamar Mehr from Trade with Precision. So on Friday, President Trump has picked Kevin Warsh to be the head of the Federal Reserve. Now, Warsh has served 5 years as a Fed governor and was seen as a hawk, and the market reacted to this news with a strong sell-off of precious metal and a bounce in the US dollar. So let's start with the chart of gold, and we can see this strong sell-off. But what we can also see is we had a very strong and sharp climb toward the 56,000 area. So we were very overextended. If we have a quick look at the monthly, we can see how far the market has run away from its moving averages, from the buy zone, that equilibrium area, the area between the 10 and the 20 moving averages. So we were due a pullback, and that pullback was strong and sharp. So the area that I'm currently looking for potential opportunities, it's a little bit lower. I'm looking to see a bit more of a pullback into the averages and into a level on the weekly chart. So the area is in and around the 4600. I like to see the market giving a little bit of a push and then show me signs that the buyers are returning into this market. Now, it's a similar story here with silver, a very strong push. And as you can see here on the weekly, we actually touched, we pulled back all the way into the moving averages. We had a bounce over here as well, but what I'd like to see is any change of direction on the lower time frame for potential opportunities, because this was a very strong push and very overextended. Now let's have a look at a couple of US dollar crosses, and let's start with the euro. And the euro here on the weekly chart, we can see we had a strong level in and around the 1.18. We broke above it, continue higher, but rejected that move. If we'll take a look here on the daily chart, we can see the strong push above the level and currently pulling back into the averages. So once again, I like to see the market pushing a little bit lower into the area of this level, and then I'll be looking for signs that the buyers are returning into the market and looking for a continuation of this overall higher time frame move, keeping in mind that the weekly candle has closed bearish. If we'll take a look here on the pound, similar story, and the level here is in and around the 1.35 and a half. If we'll take a look here on the weekly chart, we can see the touches on that level. So once again, I want to see a bit more of a pullback and then buyers returning into the market around that level. Quick look at the Aussie dollar. Now the Aussie had a very strong push, and we can see very overextended here on the weekly chart. Now on the Aussie, there are two levels that I'm currently watching. The first one is the level of 68. We can see we had a couple of touches at that level in the past, but we can also see there's another level in and around the 67, 65 area. I like the area of this bearish rejection candle that got broken by this strong bullish candle. And if we'll add the Fibonacci retracement of this big monthly push, so from the low of this move all the way to the high, we can see that this level is clustering very nicely with a 50% retracement. So I'm watching for the market for a bit more of a pullback in and around this area. Let's have a look at dollar yen. Now dollar yen, we can see we close with a nice bullish rejection candle here on the weekly chart. And if we'll take a look here on the daily, we can see that we're actually coming up into a level in and around the 155. So what I'd like to see is compression underneath this level. So a bit more of a higher low and an equal high around this area. Then I'll be looking for potential break and a continuation of this move. If, however, the market will break through this level without a compressions of price underneath it, I'd like to see a push above the 156, so above this level and above this last weekend gap, and then I'll be looking for a pullback to test this level from above and a continuation of this move. Lastly, let's take a look at the S&P 500, which also had a milestone this week. So the S&P 500 broke above the 7,000 level, but hasn't been able to hold and close above it. And currently, we're pulling back into the averages. Now, we do have here a higher high. However, we also have a lower low over here. And if we'll take a look here on the weekly, we can see that we are grinding higher. We do have an uptrend here on the weekly chart, but we're also pulling back into this level around the 69.30. And if we'll take a look here on the monthly chart, we are still quite overextended and we can still pull back a little bit more. And a nice area for the market to pull back into, and a level that I'm closely watching, is the 6,500. We can see we bounced off that level before, and the latest bounce has also pushed us into a higher high. Happy trading, everyone. Bye for now.